Live on Jess TV, jessfm.ca. This is Auto Boom with
Ali.
and Jason. And if you want to get a hold of us, please give us a call at 403-942-0068. Or you can watch us on Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube, and we're good to go. This is episode 3.
It is.
And
We
this
had another good week of feedback.
another
this
fantastic week of feedback from our adoring public.
week. Yeah, we had some awesome emails again. We had some really good Facebook messages.
Yep.
So keep them coming in, guys. We really want to keep hearing all the experiences in the auto industry, customer service.
You know, we were at a local restaurant just the other day working on our show, and I think we were recognized. There was a bunch of people looking at us and staring and pointing and giggling.
No, I think they're just genuinely laughing at me.
I think I had something on my face. Maybe they
Probably.
maybe they didn't recognize us from the show, but I like to think they did. Today is all about how to recognize stress in the workplace and how to stay motivated.
Yeah.
So
We had to change it up a little bit. We were going to do some finance segments here, but our finance bro, he couldn't make it. He's sick. So we
right.
just switched it up. He's going to be coming in another day to join us.
Maybe sick, brought on by stress.
Could have been.
It happens. So, anyways, before we get any further into the segment, I really have to ask Ali, how do you relieve the tension?
Oh, my word. Okay, so keeping it kind of tame. Lots of things.
You know what? You don't have to answer that question right now. Let's.
Don't ask me and then take it back.
We're
Okay.
going to get to that segment. I am going to ask Ali. I just wanted to put her off her game a little bit before we move on. So let's talk about recognizing stress. The first thing you need to do: are you stressed? Do you even know when you're stressed? So.
How do you know you're stressed? How do you know?
Well, actually, there's a lot of symptoms that I think a person can really recognize. It takes a while. You have to kind of know yourself.
Okay.
You have to kind of know yourself. And if you're feeling overwhelmed when you usually don't, hey, maybe that's a good sign of stress. And we're going to talk a little bit more about being overwhelmed
Okay.
and how to solve that. And the solution for most of us driven people in sales, it's not going to be the answer you're expecting.
Well, you're saying it can be somewhat stressful working in sales or customer service? What do you mean?
Yes, because any job that works with the public should be stressful. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. Right, and then so you should, if you have stress, you might have emotional strain. You'll recognize this when you're interacting with your public, with your friends, with your family.
Well, and it affects your whole job. And if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to be productive, you're not going to be super successful.
And people
and
might
you-
point it out.
Well, exactly, right? So, you need to be in a job where you're having fun and, successful in your job.
Right, and you're going to recognize your stress levels by the amount of tension you're carrying around with you. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm feeling stressed, I'm clenching my teeth a little bit. And at the end of the day, if my jaw's a little bit tight feeling, I like to think that maybe that is one of the symptoms that I should be watching for when I'm stressed.
So you guys do that. You kind of tense those muscles there.
Yeah.
And you can see it, like,
Yep.
I do it too. I got it kind of right now.
Do you?
Yeah, but I kind of use that Vaseline trick when you put Vaseline in your
Excuse me?
because it helps.
Okay, I have no idea. You're going to have to teach me this. Ali later after the show is going to teach me all about the usefulness of Vaseline.
It might be TMI, but
And too much TMI. Oh, right. Okay. I'm slow today. Too much to do. So if you're feeling like you just have too much on your plate, that is another symptom of stress. Because really, come on, you have the same amount of time in your day as everybody else, and thinking that you have too much on your plate and actually having too much on your plate are two different things. One of them is just the feeling, and sometimes it's not accurate. Sometimes you just think, oh, if I could just drop a couple things from my life right now, take a break from them, I would be able to get better. And while wishful thinking never actually helps anything.
and usually that's just a sign of overthinking.
Overthinking, yeah. Well, that's my next point. Overthinking. One of the symptoms of stress is overthinking, which can interrupt your sleeping
Yeah,
patterns.
not good. Not healthy, not good. Again, things go over and over in your mind. You don't sleep properly, and usually it's a load of rubbish.
How did
Just
you sleep last
overthinking.
night?
Well, I couldn't get to sleep initially for hours.
Okay.
And then finally, I did get to sleep. But I think I was overtired.
Oh, that
When
happens.
you're overtired, when you're too tired.
Why were you
You
overtired?
can't get comfy. Maybe I was stressed.
Yeah, well, that could be it. Absolutely. One of the things that you're going to notice about yourself when you're feeling stressed is you start avoiding socializing. So avoiding family, avoiding friends. People say, hey, let's go out, something that you might normally do, and then suddenly you're not feeling like you want to go out.
But that's so not the way to handle it.
No,
To
absolutely
like
not.
hunker down and want to hide in your little man cave.
Yeah, you know
Or
what?
your lady cave, whatever. It's not
And
healthy.
if you're going to do that, set a deadline. Just set a deadline. And sometimes you do need to curl up with a blanket and whatever. I don't know. But, get over it.
You mean face it,
Face it.
right?
Thank you.
Not
But
just
we're going to
get
get...
over it, but do, positive things to help the situation.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we're going to get to that. Avoiding work. You don't want to avoid work. This is another symptom. Avoiding dealing with it, pretending that's not happening. And then, of course, the physical manifestations of stress.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've already talked about the whole, clenching your jaw thing, which
Right.
is not good. You don't need jaw ache. Do you?
No.
No.
You can feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
Get panic attacks for some people. That's not something I usually deal with.
Yeah.
But some people do go through that.
And that's huge. That's really when you're overstressed and you might need to seek, extra help to deal with that.
Do you ever get panic attacks? Have
not,
you?
Not now, but I have done.
Okay. Okay.
It's anxiety. It's all part of another form of stress that, anxiety builds.
I don't
And you
feel...
ignore it or you try and fight it, you think you're okay, you think you're handling it,
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you can be in a social area or suddenly not comfortable, you're out of your safe zone, and your body has these physical symptoms that you can't control,
Wow.
So, and that point is when you do need to seek some extra medical help from your doctor or, counselors.
Self-medication.
That's
All right,
what
we'll get to that
help.
later too. And lethargy. That's a big one. This is something I get when I'm stressed. I like to just not do anything, which is the worst thing to do, of course. But it's just the way I dealt with it. And let's not forget about anger. Hey, when you're feeling stressed, you might take it out on your coworkers. Probably not. You might even take it out on your customers. Probably not. Guess where it's going? You deal with all that stuff during your
Take it
day.
home.
You take it home.
Yeah.
Yep.
So family, friends, that's not fun.
Ask your family when you get home.
I know,
Do
hey.
I appear stressed to you? They'll tell you. That's the great thing about family is they'll tell you.
Or
They're-
even if they don't ask you, what would you like for supper, dear? Ah. What are you asking me for? Ah. What's that a sign of? You're stressed,
Stress.
right?
Yes, taking it out on the family.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we want to talk about is when you're stressed and when you're being negative, you often are not curing it by seeking the proper help. You're actually often seeking other negative people to help reinforce your bad mood, right?
Well, yeah, and a lot of people do that without realizing they're doing it. Reinforcing that whole negative mindset.
Popular one now. If you're not seeking out negative people in front of you at work, a lot of people are going onto the news, onto social media. They're looking for those fights, and it just feeds into that bad feeling.
And then they just want to complain more.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, they see everything that's wrong in the world, and it
Mhm.
feeds into that whole mindset of, oh, look at this, I'm going to complain about this, look at that person doing that, how dare they do that.
Right.
But
And
at
some of
same
the
time,
some of the topics that we've brought up have fed some of those negative people. So that's really great. We can get them to draw them out of their shell, but you need to move on and find those positive things.
it's keeping healthy, right? it can really lead to, mental health issues if you don't if you don't deal with, the small little symptoms of stress. And like I said, at some point you have to go to seek, extra help.
And that's, it's just, this is just, you don't have to be in the auto industry. You might be watching this, you might be in retail, you might be in insurance, you might be a realtor. It doesn't really matter. We're all in the people business. That's what we all have in common. We're not just salespeople. I'm not just a car guy. We are all in the people industry.
We all have goals in our lives, whether it is, from the workplace or just in your family environment. And everyone does, have a lot to deal with on our plates. We all have goals, and are we achieving them in a healthy way, or just giving us more pressure, more stress?
Right.
And having fun achieving the goals, which is what we should be aiming for. How do we make sure we're having fun?
And being in sales, if you're in sales or in the people industry, as I said, you definitely have some goals. Otherwise, you're not doing your job right.
You do get reminded you have goals quite often.
Monthly.
Daily.
Daily.
Sometimes maybe hourly. You're reminded that you do have some goals you have to achieve.
One of the things I want to say about us at work when we're you're not an island. Everybody feels like they're an island. You don't want to necessarily seek out help. But when you get into that redundant stress mind frame and it just keeps going around and around in your head, you start expecting people suddenly to come and help you. Why don't my managers, or why don't my coworkers, why don't my boss recognize that I'm stressed? Why don't they recognize that I'm overwhelmed? Why don't they come and help me? Why don't they ask me how my day is going?
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't just sit there and expect other people, because everybody's going through all their own stuff.
Yeah.
So why do you expect them to drop it to come over and help you? This is the thing. You have to ask. We're all people. We're all humans. And we tend to want to help each other, don't we?
Well, we should do, but when you're in that mindset, and it's a little bit of a selfish mindset.
It is.
Because it is.
Yeah.
But you're trapped in that mindset, right? So you're thinking, like you said, why are they not helping me? Why are they not recognizing? And you're so much more critical of other people's behavior.
Yeah.
Again, that's not cool. It's not fair.
So, and this is one of the things, actually, I didn't even have this note down, but it just came to me. I was just thinking that when you're at work, you should find a work buddy, a work relationship, something within the work area where a person that you can go to for that kind of help, whether it's HR, whether it's manager, or whether it's just one of your peers. If I'm having an issue.
But is that not an expectation again?
Well,
you're thinking, well, I should be able to go to my manager, I should be able to go to HR, I should be able to. If it's not available, what do you do?
Well, that's just it. See, now, for me personally, if I'm having an issue getting over something, I'll go and talk to somebody. I'll often wander over to your office, and we'll sit down and we'll have a chat about it. And usually, she's really good at pointing out what it is that I've missed, or things that I haven't done, or, hey, don't you have this goal that you need to refocus on? Because I get lost very easily. I don't have ADHD, I don't think I do, but sometimes everybody in the people business, everybody in sales kind of does.
And that's what we all do as a work team, because we are a team.
We are a team,
We
absolutely.
all visit each other, during the day.
Yeah.
I have this situation, I'm not sure where to go with it, how to exactly handle it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, and we often work as each other's soundboards. And part of the reason why we actually decided to have this episode is because these are things that we deal with every day. And our other coworkers as well, they come to us, we go to them.
Yeah.
So now, this is some questions. These are some hard questions for our viewers and some hard questions for us. Do you hang out with a negative crowd? You know who I'm talking about. Now, in the car industry, and I'm not sure how it is for other industries, we call it the huddle.
The huddle?
So, yeah, the huddle. That might be new for you, but
I didn't know
it's a football term. Sorry, Canadian football term. Not a soccer term.
Well, I don't know it.
So the huddle, that's where a bunch of us will get together, we'll put our heads together, and you know what? Inevitably, the huddle is always about complaining. Oh, the economy's slow. People aren't showing up. I got some bad leads.
I know it is the BS circle.
Totally. Well, and that's exactly what it is. You can call it whatever you
in
want.
retail, yes, it could be known as that.
Sure, and
Yeah.
we all know what that is, though.
Yeah.
All of us. You don't have to be in sales. You can be in a union job. You can be in anything. You're going to have a huddle, a BS crowd, whatever. Are you part of it? Are you contributing? Are you gossiping? people often think that gossiping is a stress relief. It's an outlet.
Yeah, and some
Just-
people think it's healthy to vent in a circle.
Right.
You know,
And
but-
sometimes you do need to get things out, but this is really just you seeking out other negative people to reinforce
Yeah.
your negative opinion.
And then what have you done? You've passed it on to everybody else.
Right.
Somebody up until that point could have been having an awesome day,
Yeah.
you know, but then they were dragged into this beer circle, and then all of a sudden, oh, I didn't know, you know, that I had this issue. I didn't know that person had that issue and wasn't happy. And now I'm
And-
kind of feeling shitty now, and I've got to get on the rest of the day and be all motivated, but now I kind of feel like poop. So,
I like poop. You know, and I have been that new worker, and who hasn't seen us? The new guy comes in, he's performing well, she's performing well, and then they get part of the huddle or the BS crowd, the gossips, and they get dragged down. And after about a month, 2 months, 3 months, their performance starts to go down. Who hasn't seen that? Who hasn't been that person? When I was younger, that was me. I'd walk into a place, I would be full gung-ho to show off to the boss and show him how good a worker I am, and then just get dragged down. And then find, I'm working for a tyrant.
Well,
And
it easily happens, and like you said, it can be the culture of that, you know, employment place that you joined, you know.
it's
so,
the culture of humanity. We're all kind of, people like to complain. People like to get buried under all that
Well,
negativity.
people like to feel part of something, and if there is, you know, a culture there,
Mm-hmm.
and you know the group is a complaining group, then
Yep.
it's good to feel part of that, so you buy in.
Right.
But how do you fight against that and not buy in for you to be, you know, happy?
Here's another hard question. Are you that negative person?
And the start of it, you're bringing
Yeah.
it.
Are you the one who's created that culture? Maybe you didn't realize it, but you really have to self-analyze.
Well, give us some examples of that. What sort of person would they be doing to, you know, bring that negative culture to the workplace?
Sure, yeah. It might just start out simple. A person might be asked to do something by a manager, perhaps, that they didn't feel was part of the job description. That's a common one. Well, that's not my job description. I'm not here to scrape windows off every single car in the lot. Hey, this is part of sales life.
It's
you get up in the
8:30
morning,
and it's minus 30 outside.
and you're out there
say
scraping,
no.
and you look down the row, and there's 100 more cars to do, and you're thinking, you're not getting paid for that. You're doing it for free, because unless you're selling, you're working for free in any.
So you're kind of
industry.
saying, you know, if you're a no person, nope, not in my job description.
Right.
No,
And then-
I'm not feeling like that today.
the rest of the crowd shows up because you're there early, like a good salesperson,
Hmm.
and you're there early, and this is all you end up doing is scraping windshields, and then somebody comes along and you start complaining, this isn't our job description, why are we doing this? And then you feed them that negativity.
Yeah.
So this is just an
And
example.
you start that at 8:30 in the morning.
You might not always be that person, but you
Exactly.
started it that day,
Yeah.
you know, and you're to blame. You have to take ownership for that and change it, because you can't change it without taking ownership.
Yeah. And you've set the tone of the day right there by
Yeah.
saying, oh, let it freeze in, I'm not going to do it.
Now, if you're just tuning in, this is Auto Boom with Ali and Jason, and we're on Just TV.
Yes, we are. If you have any comments, please Facebook us. We do
Yes.
have Auto Boom on our Facebook.
Yep.
Please give us a call here as well.
Jess
Jess
FM on
FM.
Facebook as well.
439420068. And we'd love to hear all your comments, all your experiences.
Yeah,
Please
keep it
let us
coming.
know.
Keep it
I know
coming.
we've had some awesome feedback and awesome emails.
Brilliant.
You know, I really do like our viewers.
Our viewers,
They've
yes.
been- yeah, they've been so good. We really have.
Yeah, thanks for taking your time out of your day to comment, please. Thank you.
I know, right? And people have been really taking the time to let us know, you know, the thoughts. And
Yeah.
I just want to, say that. I do really appreciate people calling us, Facebook messaging us, emailing us, speaking to other people about it as well. You know?
And pointing and laughing if I have something on my face. You'll have to rewind to the beginning of the episode if you're just tuning in to actually know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But today we're talking all about stress and motivation in the workplace, a common issue in sales. And a lot of what we talk about, since it is the auto industry, is sales related or service.
Okay, so getting back a little bit.
Yes.
So how do we stay motivated in the workplace?
First thing to do, because I think we should talk about the don'ts and then the do's.
Okay.
So don't. First of all, okay, yeah. Let me just ask you, please, when you're commenting about this episode, let us know what it is that you do, or things that you don't do
Yeah.
in order to deal with your stress, avoiding things or looking for things that help.
Well, there are so many different things as well out there, to help us combat our stress.
Right. And one of them is stress relief,
Yep.
relieving tension, Allie.
And what works for one person doesn't always work for another person, right?
Right.
It's all personal. It's all
So
objective.
what works for you?
Are you asking me now? I'm actually
I'm
allowed
asking
to
you
answer
now.
this now.
I'm asking you now, what do you do to relieve tension?
Okay, so my most favorite thing in the world, some people who know me may already know this, is I do like cats.
Oh, yes.
So I do make it a point, every day that I do take the time to stroke my cats a lot. I find that usually stress relieving. And it's true. It's a proven fact.
Stroking your cats
Yes,
helps relieve tension.
it is true.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. it
Next
is.
episode, we're going to learn all about stroking cats
I
to relieve
have. I do
tension.
have a few cats. I have more than one.
She is a crazy cat lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. But it's super helpful, and that's what keeps me grounded. And I have to take the time to make the effort to do that on a daily basis, right? It's not always easy to find the time, but
No, that's right.
it's just what I have to do, and it helps me.
Good. And you got to find out what you need to do and stick
Well,
with
I'm
that.
saying that's what I really enjoy doing. Something I don't enjoy doing is going to the bloody gym.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, you can have that. I'm not a gym person. I keep getting nagged to go, but to
Sorry?
me, it's a little bit like the worst place in the
I
world
think it's
to
worth
go.
trying.
No, I've tried it, but I haven't had good experiences.
Right. One of these times I'm going to bring my good buddy Kale out on the show here because he's my trainer, and he's going to tell you why whipping you into shape is going to be
I
a
know.
good thing for you.
Apparently, I have to go to the gym soon.
Well, try it. Just try it.
I said I would try it.
Anyways, so I want to talk a little bit about avoiding things, and this is you can avoid things to have a less stressful life, like avoiding the news. You know what? I know everybody wants to stay current. Everybody wants to know about the current affairs.
Why?
I don't know. So you have something to talk about. Small talk, okay? You know what? Talk about people who deal with small talk every
But
single
what can
day.
you do about whatever goes on halfway around the other side of the world?
Well,
What
and that's
can you
just
do
it.
about that?
That's just it. There's so much negative news, and what are you going to do about it?
You can't do sod all to control what's going on the other side of the world. I wish we could, but I personally can't handle watching shitty news like that. It doesn't let me sleep. It just stays in my brain.
Right.
I can't
So
help
what's
it.
happening at home in the political, theater, and what's happening just south of the border in politics, in business, how the economy is doing, projections, rising interest rates,
Well, no,
war,
it's like
famine, weather.
animal cruelty. Can't be doing with that.
Yeah.
I don't sleep. I just want to go and save every cat and dog in the world, and I can't deal with that. So I have to recognise that I can't watch the news. So I don't watch TV. Don't watch the news.
Yeah, I don't even have a TV. I don't watch it. I do see Netflix from time to time.
But it's not easy because, like Jason said, you do get tied into that circle at work. Where they say, "Oh, did you see the news last night?" And you have to go, "No, I didn't." No.
Yeah, really, I don't.
So are you
Hey, did
involved?
you hear about what happened with the workers in the U.S.? You know what? What are you talking about? I'm not even sure what that story is. I don't really care. It doesn't affect
I
me.
do a bit of
right
Facebooking. That's
Yeah,
as
well,
much
who
as I
doesn't,
need to
right?
know, really, right?
Right, which brings me to the fact that you should be on Facebook to see Jess FM or Autoboom, and both.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said talking to the negative crowd, talking about the news, things that can't really affect you. But you touched on this, gym. I find the gym is a great stress relief. It makes you know what? It makes your body feel better, and if you have a healthy body, you have a healthy mind. And this is just something I've learned recently. I've never been a gym person before.
Okay.
I started going to the gym because it just felt like I'm getting to that point in my life where in my midlife, right, sort of got into a crisis, and I'm like, I've only got so much time left, time is short. I have to move,
Right.
get moving because if I don't use it, I am about to lose it. I see people who are just in the 50s or 60s, at work, open the door, and they want to know, so somebody who's like 10, 15 years older than me, I need to find a vehicle that's easy to get in and out of. Why? Because they're stiff, they're sore, their joints aren't working very well,
It's not fun.
back won't bend, neck is stiff, and getting in and out of the car. I don't want to deal with that in 10, 15 years. It's too quick.
It's, Do you want to be buying an SUV in 10 years because you dodge your hip, or do you want to buy the GTI?
Right.
Rather have
Good
GTI,
point.
I think.
Of course, so would I.
You know?
Yes, fun car to drive.
Yeah.
But
yes, so you kind
So
of.
for me, that's what, and we were talking
Go to the
about
gym.
trying something, yoga. I don't even know what yoga is. I think it comes in strawberry flavors and blueberries and, no, anyways.
I'm more of a yoga person. I do like yoga. I haven't made as much time that I should to go and do it.
Yeah.
But I recognize that, that gives me a lot more, of a good feeling than gym.
And I'm willing to try it. I'm not willing to try the yoga pants, but I am willing to try the yoga practice. And then you're going to try the gym.
Apparently.
Try it. Just try it.
I'm going to try it.
So yeah, physical activity. Who knows why? I've never been a runner. I look at people running, and I always laugh. Ha, suckers! And then I'm out there
I
now.
thought you did running.
I do. Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't.
All this energy I
don't
need to get out.
either. But I have friends who are big runners.
Yeah.
I've got a good friend who she's going in the Boston Marathon.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be
in a few
exciting.
months. And yeah, how cool is that? I mean,
Training for it right now.
what a goal that is.
Yeah. So she
to
lives
be a-
vicariously through her friends for stress relief.
I do.
Going to your family and friends, they can help. Yeah, you know what? I know it. I understand you do have to vent. You can't dwell,
Yeah.
but you do have to vent. I want to say, you know what? One of the great stress reliefs that a lot of people get into is self-medication. Hey, drinking, smoking pot.
Yeah, but not to excess, though, right? You have to recognize if it might be getting out of hand.
Right. Now, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't self-medicate. I am going to say that it's not a solution. It's not going to fix anything.
Yep.
You might relieve some tension one night, but it's not going away. It's not dealing with it. Well, I just bring it up because drinking and whatever else it is that you do
It's part
can
of it, right?
feel good. You kind of think that you are dealing with it. You're not really. You're just avoiding it. If you're going to use it as stress relief, don't use it as your mainstay. Just
I
night
know
on
who-
the town, nothing wrong
I
with
don't really
that.
know who can afford to do all that to excess anyway these days. It's so not cheap.
Well, and who's got the time?
12-pack is how much these days?
I don't know. I can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly. Neither could I.
I don't work enough to afford booze. Yeah, so you need to talk about it with people. You need to talk at work, at home. The problem, of course, with taking it home and talking to your partner or your family is, are they listening? You hear it every day. It's like, kind of, you smile and you nod. I'm really good at smiling and nodding. It's an art form. Okay, I do that a lot at work, especially with people with their interesting stories about their children. Yeah, very exciting.
So you don't listen to my cat stories every day?
I listen to every
Is
single
that
one
what
of
you're
your
saying?
cat
You
stories.
don't listen to my cat stories? Okay, well, now I know.
I listen to all of your cat
It's good,
stories.
It's good to talk.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure Morris is a lovely cat, but he just doesn't like men, I think. Now, if it
Trained
gets
him well, that's why.
if it gets serious, this is one of the questions I have for our viewers. Have you ever tried counseling? I don't know anything about counseling. I've never been to a counselor. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just never got to that. Around to it? I don't
Well,
know.
it's
Where do you
it's
find time for a
worth
counselor?
trying. It certainly is worth trying because, again, it might not suit everybody. What suits one person doesn't always suit the next person.
Well,
And
a
if
lot
someone
of
tells you, well, it didn't work for me, I went, we'll still give it a go, right?
right. Maybe they went to the wrong counselor. Maybe they weren't ready to listen to their counselor or talk to their counselor. But you know what? There's a stigma about going to counseling. Like, there's something wrong with you if you do.
Yeah.
And you know what? All the big wigs, all the people who actually are making money, all the people who are actually being successful, they have these people on staff for a reason.
All the celebrities in the world,
Right.
heck, they've got paid help to constantly kiss their backsides every day, to tell them how awesome they
Well,
are,
and
to
keep
get them
them
out of bed.
accountable and do all these things for them. But
Well, it's to keep them motivated in a positive place,
Yeah.
so they can go and achieve and do what they need to do.
and when you got to drag your butt into work every single day to sell cars or houses or whatever it is that you do, especially when dealing with an unpredictable public, which we love, it's part of what we are attracted to in our jobs, but there is stress involved there. Sometimes you need professional help. I don't know anything about professional help, so I'd love, this is one of those things I'm really interested to hear from our viewers about, is do you have a counselor? Does it work?
Yeah.
Have you tried it? How much does it cost? It sounds expensive.
Yeah, I don't know, but I want to find out.
And-
I really want to go.
I'm
I wanna
actually
go.
thinking about it myself. I don't know how much of it is covered. That's different for everybody. I'm just curious for myself. You can't answer that question, viewers.
Yeah.
But let's talk about all the positive things at work that you might have. Now, this is something that you might have to challenge.
Do you bring it to the workplace?
What, the positivity?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point.
Are you Mr. Happy when you come into work?
On our way to the show this morning, we had to stop for a quick caffeine buzz, right? One of our ways to deal with stress. Caffeine, hey, it's a drug. And we were talking about, are you the positive person in your workplace? You know what? Because you're probably thinking, if you're not a manager already, you're probably thinking, why isn't it my manager who's doing this?
Yeah.
You know, the owner, dealer principal, whatever, the boss, the manager, sales manager. Why aren't they being more positive? Why aren't they bringing us into meetings every morning to pump us up? You know,
Saying, well done, good job.
yeah. Some major franchises have a cheer in the morning. I'm not sure I could get into a cheer, but hey, it's something that might work for
Yeah,
people,
some
right?
people do.
So what is it at work that you're doing to contribute to the positive energy at work?
So give an example. What do you do it?
Okay, you know what? This is interesting. The other day, I had a little bit of work that I had to hand off to somebody else to do, and they had just
A little bit of work, eh? Just
little bit of
giving
work.
someone else some extra work to do.
Yeah, and it's not something I could have done anyways. I did have to hand it off to them because that was their
Okay.
job. But they had come in. They were under a lot of stress at home. They weren't even supposed to be at work that day, so they came in their jogging pants, just in and out quick. And I had to stop that person and say, "Hey, I've got some extra work for you that needs to get taken care of now." Okay, but that's not what I said. I walked up to that person and I said, "Hey, I've got something for you," trying to be positive. And they go, "Oh, is it a good thing?"
Yeah.
That put me back a little bit because I realized that's an actual valid question. Is it a good thing?
So automatically you felt that person was getting some anxiety from you saying, "Can you do this for me?"
Why shouldn't they? Right? I'm adding work to their plate.
Yeah.
And so I paused for a moment. I thought about it. I thought this is an actual plea for some positivity in their life.
And you do recognize it, which is awesome.
So I had the paperwork in my hands and I said, "Just one moment, please. I'll be right back. It is absolutely positive. You'll be very happy for me." Okay? So I ran back to my office. I took my paperwork. I stuffed chocolate in it. And I came running back and I said, "I got you some chocolate
Yeah.
wrapped in some paperwork."
It's such
You know
a
what?
creeper, right?
She took the paperwork, she opened it up, there was chocolate inside that I had stashed away in my office.
Aw.
And she said, "You know what, that is
Cute thing
nice."
to do. Yeah, it is a cute thing to do.
So you have to be creative sometimes.
Yeah.
Why am I just going to hand off work to
Yeah.
somebody?
And I'm
who's
sure they
gonna do
knew that
work?
you were just being a total creeper and here's some chocolate for doing extra work I'm bringing you.
What's creepy
But it
about
was
that?
appreciated.
Yes.
Somewhat.
Yeah. No, she was happy. She smiled. So, what is your work doing? I'm just kind of curious. Do you guys have Casual Friday? We do. We have Casual Friday.
Apparently we do.
Right?
I
Allie never
kinda
does. She always goes
forget.
dressed up all nice, but I'll wear jeans and a
forget.
shirt.
Well, where's the reminder? Who comes around and says, "Oh, by the way, FYI, Casual Friday."
Casual Friday is the reminder. Called Casual Friday, so you remember on
Am
Friday.
I supposed to remember that it's a Friday and what
Oh.
day I'm on?
Am I supposed to text you the night before and say, "Hey, change your wardrobe when you come to work tomorrow"?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm
And
going
then-
to
and
set
then-
a reminder for myself,
Yeah.
so remind Allie on
Yeah.
Thursday. I'll let you guys know if that was successful.
I'd appreciate that, and I would show that. I would appreciate that.
Right. So don't come to work in sweatpants, though. It's not that casual.
No.
Are you getting recognition at work for the effort that you do? Are you giving your coworkers recognition for the work that they do? Doesn't have to be chocolate, just saying. But are you actually appreciative of the people that you're asking them to work, or even you just see them out there talking to somebody and going the extra mile to help them out? For us, like somebody's going to pull up a vehicle for another customer, they might go and wash it off. You might say, "Hey, good job pulling it up. You've really represented the company, the dealership in a positive light."
And that really
Keep
does
it up.
help, helping your coworkers
You don't
when
have
you're
to-
not asked.
You
Right?
don't-
Just
yeah.
offer to help. You know, just try and pay attention to your coworkers. If I see somebody who's kind of walking a little bit like, "Ah," you know, I noticed that, and I can say, "Okay, you know, do you want a coffee? Can I get you coffee?" You
Yeah.
know, anything I can do? Do you want me to go and park that vehicle for you so you don't go outside and get cold? I'll go and get cold for you.
Yeah, no, she does that.
kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, Allie actually does that stuff.
I
She's
know.
very cognizant of people's well-being in the office.
Well, it matters, right? And
does.
if you do it, then hopefully you think it's going to pass along. They're going to pass it along to somebody else.
You know, a classy move, and this is for the auto industry. I don't know if anybody else has this in their industry, but a real classy move is when you see somebody's dealing with a customer and you know what it is that they're looking at, to just offer or just go ahead and do it. Pull that vehicle up for them. You know, it's good. It's good morale for the salesperson because they're like, "Wow, my coworker actually cares. He's actually listening." But
Super helpful.
the customer is always really, really blown away by the fact that salespeople, most people actually view salespeople as competitors to each other.
Yeah.
I don't view my fellow salespeople as my competitors. We're part of a team. I don't feel like I need to compete with you. I don't feel like I need to compete with any of the other people I'm there with.
Nope.
Um,
You're a team.
I compete with myself. You know what? If you're a healthy attitude towards your sales, you're going to be in competition with yourself, not anybody else.
And that's the feedback we get from customers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, I can see that you're working a team and how happy you are. Because then the next thing you say is, oh wow, you know, Jason, that was so helpful. You know, thanks for doing that for me.
Yeah.
And
Well, we had a
the feedback we
customer
got.
the other day. So Allie wasn't at work; it was her day off, and one of our fellow coworkers greeted one of your customers who had come back looking just for her, and he helped her out, helped the customer out, and went the extra mile, and it's just one of those things. And I know you've done that for them as well.
Oh,
You know, it's two-way
absolutely.
street.
Absolutely,
So positivity brings more positivity
It
because
does, it's true.
yeah, when you're helping someone, they feel obliged to help you. But the obligation isn't a bad thing. You feel
Yeah.
good about it, about doing it. So you're just feeding off each other. Social
Why
committee.
not?
Do we have a social committee?
No, not really.
Okay, well, we're going to be the social committee. Yeah, we're going to start
We worked previously at our other employer.
at our other employer, yeah,
You know,
because we
we
worked together at another store before
We
this one.
started out a fun event. Didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Went golfing.
Okay, you know what? Allie did all that.
Okay.
Allie is really good at organizing and saying.
It was fun. It was really good fun. It was awesome.
Glow golfing, is that what it's called?
Glow
Night
ball.
golfing?
Glow
That was
ball.
amazing. You guys, you got to try it.
Yeah.
I'm not a golfer. I'm terrible.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
We should do that again this year. We should organize that.
Absolutely, yeah. And you get all your team members out there outside of work. And you think, I see you guys 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go out with you? You know, you do it in a social setting. And the next day when you come into work and you're seeing people that you don't always work with, the guy who details the vehicles for you, the people who check the vehicles over and do the inspections and the reconditioning for you to sell the vehicle, you don't get to interact with them all the time every day. And this way you get to see them in a different light. When you come in the next day, there's different camaraderie in the store, isn't there?
And that's exactly what happened. For the following week, everybody was talking about this big event, you know, on so-and-so couldn't make it, you know, dang it. You should have gone because it was so fun.
Right, and then they regretted not going, so then we're going to make sure they make it to the next one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? And that's why I think if you don't have a social committee, don't wait for one to get started. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do it.
Why not?
What are you waiting
right?
for?
Why not? It does take a little bit of time and effort, but,
Yep.
you know, like I said, the rewards, you know, worth it.
The next thing you have to do, I think, is find positive people. And it doesn't have to be at work. It's anywhere, in social circles, out in the community, in the business world. But where do you find positive people?
Okay, that can be really daunting.
It feels daunting at first.
Where do you find like-minded people like yourself?
Yeah.
That can be a huge stumbling block. If you're in that mindset that you're a little bit on a downer,
Yeah.
you know, where do you start?
So one of the things that we actually found, was that going out and pursuing some positive goals and accomplishing positive things in the community has itself introduced us to other like-minded people who are in the community, who are helping, who are doing positive things, who are goal-oriented. And you know what? If you just start doing positive things, those positive people will be attracted to you.
See, and I was really surprised by that. That one little step that you take leads to so many big steps, and, you know, it brings a lot more back to you without you even looking for it. That surprised me.
And that, you know what, that first step, That first step is the hardest part,
Yeah, it was.
because after that it just happens. It just happens. So I think one of the things that we do in our lives, and everybody's guilty of this, I don't care who you are, is we fear the anticipation of the next step. But once you've taken that next step,
Yeah.
it takes care of itself.
Yeah, and try not to let it hold you back, that fear.
Yeah.
Taking that first
Yeah.
step. It's so not easy, you know?
You know what you want to do. You have in your head right now something that you want to do that you haven't done. Whether it's giving back to the community, helping the less privileged, people with disadvantages, minorities, whatever, animals. There's so many different things.
Helping little cats and animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, stroking cats. Getting involved in local theater, you know, doing something like that. Just whatever it is, you have something in mind, you haven't done it, and you go, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. You know what? It's all online. Just find it. Just do it.
Or just call Jason.
Yeah, I'll point
Message
it
him
out.
on Facebook. He'll
Sure.
help you.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll get you started. I'll
Yeah.
drag you out somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently I have to go to the gym.
I'll drag you. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
drag Allie to the gym. She's going to drag me to yoga, so it's even. But you know what? She drove us to the comedy club here in town.
We did. Okay, that was awesome. You have to go. You have to go. Good times.
So this is the next thing. This is the next thing, and this is what's crazy about you, is Allie has decided we don't know anything about comedy.
No, we weren't going to release it yet. But there's something coming up.
Okay, there's something coming up. Stay tuned. Why aren't we releasing it
Yeah.
yet? You say it, then you do it.
We're not going to do a big reveal yet. But
Okay.
it is coming up, though.
So,
Yes.
no big reveal. Anyways, it involves us and comedy club. So, I don't know what that could be. It's, yeah.
You'll soon find out, people.
It won't be funny.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's going to be interesting.
it'll just be us. So,
Might just be you.
It might just, oh.
Just be you, Jason.
You're going to drag me out to do something and then
Yeah.
you're going to bail?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
What if I'm going to go to the gym? We'll see.
You're going to love it. So, for those people who haven't been to the gym or who tried the gym and didn't like it, you have to literally, and this is the hard part, do it for 6 months.
Okay, not
You get
doing
over
6 months.
So that's what it was for me. I did it for 6 months. I got over this hump where it was like dragging my ass into the gym, and then all of a sudden I started seeing results. Like, guys, I've lost 45 pounds. I don't know if you understand what that means
Where
to me.
from?
Where from? Well, mostly, and a couple of these, and
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
really want to lose that.
Well, no.
that really
I
offensive
do,
as well.
though. I do. Wearing a man's bra was kind of well, okay, I didn't, but anyways, you got past that hump, and then I started seeing results, and I started going in. The workouts started becoming easier, so of course then he challenged me to do harder workouts, and it just feeds off itself, and it becomes something very positive and very exciting, and you get more energy from it. You're not wasting energy at the gym. You're not using it. You're creating energy, and that's
Well,
just something you need
I've
to
heard
move on.
he's got a dog there, so I'm going to go and sort
Yeah,
of
no, he's got 2 dogs.
2 dogs. That's why I'm going to go.
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
big
hang and
Burmese.
chill with the dogs.
Those big Burmese dogs. They're so
I
lovable.
want to throw the ball for the dogs and play with the dogs.
Well, those
At the gym.
balls are like 18 pounds. They don't usually. Well, those dogs are big enough to fetch them though. But then the cute thing is when you collapse on the floor, because literally at the end of a workout you can't move. They come over and they like make sure you're okay because that's in their DNA
Okay.
is they're helpful dogs. They're the dogs that are in the mountains to help people when they're struggling. So they see you and they come over and they help you, and it's kind of reinvigorating. If you're too tired to pet them while they sniff at your face and stuff, then you know you've had a good workout. That's the rule of thumb around there.
I'll take your word for it. You're going to help me.
Yeah, you know what? We just want to say, be thankful. No matter what you think your life is like today, there's something to be thankful for. I've never gone a day without finding something I can be thankful for.
See, I don't think we do that enough to anyone we know. Family, friends, co-workers,
Yeah, yourself.
people in the store. Say bloody thank you and mean it. Look them in the eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you, I did a little treat the other day.
Okay.
I was in, I go to a Tim Hortons like every morning and get my morning cup of tea. And there's a worker there on the little freezing cold doorway, window, whatever it is. And
The
he's-
takeout window.
Takeout
Yeah.
window, yeah. And he's always super happy, super friendly, and he wears this little cool hat. And he's so nice. And I really appreciate him, and I wanted to show him that I appreciate him a lot, not just by saying thank you quickly and like driving off. So I bought him a little present, and I gave him a little present the other day, and his little face lit up, and he was like, "Oh!" It was actually his birthday the day before. And I was like, "Oh!" That made my day.
What did you get him?
I got him a hat. I got him a woolly toque, I think he called
A
it.
toque, yes.
Toque?
In Canada, we call them toques.
Okay, so I got him this toque, and he was so made up.
Oh, that's cute.
And I didn't want to tell anybody really about that, because you do stuff not to tell people, right? That's where
Well-
you get more feelings.
Yeah.
That should be the point as well.
Right, but it's part of the
I'm
show.
just telling the world
so
now.
thanks
But
for sharing that.
that's just an experience and an example that you should do stuff like that. Go above and beyond. Say thank you to people. Appreciate people.
And that wasn't, we're not even talking about work right now. We're talking about in our personal lives, right?
Yeah. That made my day.
And that's the next point was projecting positivity. You know what?
Yeah.
So people can throw negative things at you, but are you projecting positivity and by doing little things for people?
Well, it's just a random act of kindness, and
Yeah.
it's a bit of a movement. And it should be bigger. I paid out of pocket for this little treat for this person I didn't know. I just met him every morning when he was giving me a cup of tea. But I really appreciate that, because that sets me up for my day, my cup of tea. And his little face lit up. I was so excited.
That's cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing I want to get into, and we kind of alluded to it before, but when you're feeling overwhelmed from all the stress and you need to be motivated, this is a very unorthodox thing that I've learned online from your buddy Grant Cardone.
Grant, yes.
Yes,
Buddy Grant.
her good buddy Grant.
Yes.
I was
Just
watching.
circle.
He was talking about work-life balance, and that's a buzzword. People are always talking about work-life balance,
And how you get it, what does
Right.
it mean?
and he's calling BS on that. Really, is what he's doing, because the better you perform at work, the better you're going to perform for your family. So it feeds one off the other. But he said, when you're overwhelmed and you need to overcome that stress level, what do? A lot of people are like, well, I'm going to go, drink. I'm going to go hide somewhere. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do
Well,
that.
it can be confusing what to do.
Right. So his suggestion, he said this has never failed him, is when you're feeling overwhelmed, you got too much on your plate, add something else.
Okay, that sounds nuts.
I know, right?
What do you mean? Add something else? When you're already feeling stressed and overwhelmed? What do you mean add something else?
Right. Well, this is the thing, too, is because when you're adding something else, what you're doing is you're actually going out looking for something to accomplish. Okay? Now, setting another goal is itself a bit of a stress relief, although it's a good stress is what you're creating, a good stress, because you're actually seeking out something that you wanted to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be adding it to the list.
So you mean you're going to stay focused more on achieving a fun goal? So you
Well, yeah, I think so. What you're going to do is you're going to find something that creates good stress in your life and makes you more motivated to accomplish more things. So you think you're getting overwhelmed. Usually, it's only because you think you're getting overwhelmed. It's not that you don't.
that does make sense. If you're going to add something else, make sure it's something that, you're actually going to go with your gut
Yeah.
and find what is going to really, give you a little bit more excitement in your life.
And this is another thing. That led me to think, what is good stress? And so I watched another program, and I shared it to our Autoboom Facebook, so please go check it out. It is, I can't remember her name, but it's a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk. It's like 14 minutes long. It's all about good stress and how this person actually goes out and seeks good stress. So finding stress in your life, good stress, is a positive motivator. And what good stress is, just quick definition, roller coaster. Going on a roller coaster. People go on a roller coaster for a reason, unless you hate them. But I'm just saying most of us go on a roller coaster because it creates anxiety, it creates stress, but it's a positive stress. And physiologically, you're increasing all kinds of hormones in your body that give you positive reinforcement without, and increase your blood pressure and stuff without damaging. It's interesting. 'Cause she talks about actually like arteries
As long as
and
it's
veins and stuff.
positive and you like roller
Yeah,
coasters.
but
You're
like-
not going to puke or anything. That was
Yeah. Well, this is another example. Shooting for a promotion, asking for a promotion, getting it. The whole process. You set a goal. You put yourself out of your comfort zone, and you're doing something. Asking for a promotion. That's a positive stress. It's a good stress. Going on a first date. Those are good stresses. Those are things that you look forward to. You got anxiety. You're scared. You're stressed. But it makes your life better. It makes you feel good.
It sounds like it's getting out of your comfort zone.
That is a huge thing, getting out of your comfort
Push
zone.
yourself a little bit, because the rewards you get from that outweigh the whole fear in the first place.
Otherwise, you're what? You're stagnant. And stagnancy, lethargy, those things actually generate stress. They create stress. They avoid solving it.
And it won't get better unless you really do push past it and look to positive things.
So my next goal, my next education that I'm pursuing is learning how to take those things that I perceive as bad stress and turning them into a good stress. My thing, like, you're good at this. Allie can pick up a phone and make a cold call. Psh, no problem.
Like that.
Yeah. I hate it. Hey, this is Jason. You don't know me, but, well, I never had that conversation.
Yeah, I always say, you don't know me, but.
Yeah, you don't know me, but, actually I have used that, and it works, because then you're just being very straightforward. You don't know me, and then you go on.
You know what? You're being open and vulnerable if you say something like that.
Yeah, and it's empowering. But I've always used it a bad stress, and this is the thing, is making a proper cold call for business, a proper one, can generate revenue. Revenue is something that I am going to work to do anyways.
Yeah, it is part of our job. We have to do it.
Why shouldn't
like it
it
or
be a
not.
good stress? Why do I view it as a bad stress? And I need to analyze that. Part of it is I don't think I'm very good at it, so obviously need more training. I haven't been exposed to it enough, so I haven't pushed myself to do it more, because the more experience you get, right,
True.
the less afraid you are of it.
Well, yeah, again, you have to face it, right?
Yeah, like, remember the first time we came onto this show? Stress.
I'm so stressed.
Oh, bad stress.
But I'm trying to do it anyway. Right?
And then every time you come out and every time you do it, it gets easier.
Kinda.
I think that. Talking to people and talking in front of people has never really made, I've never really been scared of
Just,
it.
you know what, in anything you do and you don't really enjoy it 100%, just still do it anyway. Try doing it.
Right, because you're not going to know, you're not going to learn,
Yeah.
and you're not going to grow unless you get yourself in front of your people until you start pushing yourself into or out of your comfort zone, right?
See, you can do it naturally. You can.
Who?
You.
No, I can't. No, it didn't come naturally. My secret was I went to Toastmasters. If you guys don't know what that is, that's learning to public speak. And it is like going to university.
So you went and practiced, and you kind of, stood up and talked in front of people?
It is literally, because I've been to university and college and all that, it is easily as good, less expensive, and you learn so much more. You're not just learning public speaking. You're learning confidence, you're learning goal setting, you're learning how to deal with stress, how to get good stress. There's so many things I can say about that.
We were looking into that, and I'm open to going to try it.
Right, so I've actually dragged Allie to Toastmasters already, and I think you might have actually benefited from just going once.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I didn't partake in anything.
No, but you witnessed it. You were part of
I
it.
said hi in front of everybody.
And she's going to do so much more next
This is what we
time.
could do.
So, but this is our show.
But
I
yeah,
guess
we'll-
we've already
we'll
run out of
go.
time. We were actually going to end it early, but this is literally the end of the show. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Auto
I know.
Boom
Thank you.
with Allie and Jason.
Always awesome.
Thank you.
Always been fun.
Jess TV. Check us out, jessfm.ca. Find us on Facebook.
Facebook, Autoboom.
And please give us a call. Leave some messages. 403-942-0068.